Today we are going to see the promises, JavaScript promises. So promises are like, what is promises? Promises are like the things which handle the asynchronous call in the JavaScript. And we can create the promises like using promise keyword, promise constructor. And it is having like, when you create it is having two parameters. One is resolve and reject. These are like callback function, okay, which will be called inside this constructor. So once you see this, what is resolve? Resolve is a function that will be called when your asynchronous call is executed successfully, and the reject is a function which will be called when the asynchronous call that failed. Okay, that so they are used to handle asynchronous call. And like for example, like when we like do API call, right? So those API calls are asynchronous. Okay, so those we can handle through these promises. So I'm going to create a small application where we can see this how we can handle this promise. So if you can see my screen, right? So we have this, I've created this Node.js app. So let's create a small application. So I will just create let p1 equal to new promise this constructor. So this constructor will have like, so resolve is the first. If you take your cursor, right, you can see this promise constructor. The first one is having the result and the second one parameter is reject. So I'm going to reject. So I'm going to write an arrow function. So as arrow function is like it is a new concept in the ECMAScript ES6. So now we have resolve result. Just I'm going to do something, right? Okay, suppose like I'm doing let a is equal to 5 minus 2, okay, something. So if a is equal to 3, right, then it will be, we have to just use the callback function resolve. So as I told you, these are it's having the callback function resolve and reject. So we will just pass here success. Okay, otherwise else we will do reject call or reject, that is failed. So these two things, right? Okay, so we have this thing. Now just clear this. Okay, so now we are going to call this thing. Okay, we are going to just see then how to do that. Okay, so we will do that p1, that, right? You can call this then. Okay, so then will be like it is for success. Okay, if you see, so then it will give some message, right? So suppose it is giving some message. Okay, we are just going to console.log success promise success. We will just message. Okay, so this is for the success call. Okay, but suppose if there is an error, what will happen? Then we have catch. Okay, catch will the reject call will come. Okay, in the picture. So error message. So this error message, now again we're going to use lambda function. So we're just going to just console dot Okay, so now we have this thing. Now we are going to run this. Okay, now I'm running on this node, other node application. So we are you see this thing, right? It is showing success because 5 minus 2 is 3, so it is going success. So that this particular thing then is getting called here. But if I do something 4 minus 2, so it will do, right? So it will fail, so it will come inside the reject, and we will get in the catch will be called. Okay, so if I run again, you see this thing, right? Promise fail. So in this way, like, we can handle this, so there will be two, like either success or failed. So we can handle this thing, like then we can handle success, and the catch we can handle that error. Okay, so okay, so okay, one more thing, like, suppose we have a number, we have more than one promises, right? And we want to combine all the promises, right? Suppose you have, like, so for example, you have a API call, you have like two or three API call which you want to bind inside of one object. Okay, so how we can do that? Multiple promises call, like, we have multiple promises, right? So first one, like, just date p1 equal to new promise 1, so it will have two, like, one is resolve, another is reject. So this will be called, this will be lambda function. So I'm just going to call resolve, that's p1. Okay, so this will resolve, so I'm just going to do copy paste p1 p2 p2 p3. So we are just calling callback function resolve here. Okay, we are not doing reject. So now, like, how to call all these multiple promises, right, in a single promise call. So we will do this promise dot all. Okay, so what we will do here, it is like array, it is going to take array of promises. Okay, so p1 p2 p3, so these three array of promises. So now the next is, like, then the success call. Then we will have, like, okay, what will we have? We will write output array. It will be array output. Okay, it will be array. Okay, so for example, you have, 3 resolve, right? So it will contain 3 value, array 3 value. Okay, so to print that, okay, this lambda again, console dot log, and just output just the 0th value I'm printing. So it is having a 3 array, so we can print all those 3, 1, 2. So it is going to print all those 3. So it will have array value, and we can print it like this. Okay, that's in a real world way, right? When you have API call, right? So you can simply pass this API, and you can handle this in the form of array. Okay, so now we are going to run this. So now we are going to run this, just node. You see this, right? We are getting all those 3 promises. The resolve callback function that, only getting call here. So in this way we can handle these multiple promises in a single promise, right? And this will be it will be very helpful when you are handling multiple promises in your real world API project. Okay, so that's all for promises. Thanks for watching. If If you like, then please subscribe.